Didn't she?
I think it's Courtney DeWalter who always eats pizza and drink beer.
Oh man. Okay, well, I might have to throw something else in there.
Yeah.
And we just got done
I got
talking
you.
about. You totally did.
Welcome to the Run Shoe Diaries podcast, celebrating runners of all backgrounds and abilities. This is where running unites, inspires, and motivates. Lace up to get your race up. Let's get moving.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there running on native land, and welcome to the Run Shoe Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Luis, a.k.a. Chico, and this is Season 3, Episode 5, making it broadcast number 24. Thank you for spending some of your precious time listening to the show. I appreciate it. I'm definitely not going to waste it. Lace up, race up, and let's get moving. Because we're at the starting line with this episode's guest, and she's the voice behind the Ultrabuds Unleashed podcast. She's the trail queen who proves that laughter, grit, and real talk belong at every single aid station. She's got stories to make you laugh out loud, perspectives that'll make you pause and reflect, and a love for the ultra running community that runs as deep as the miles that she's crushed. So whether she's pacing a friend or mic dropping truths on the podcast, she shows up real every single time. A podcast host, a storyteller, and a force of nature in trail running, we're honored to flip the mic and get her story today. Run Shoe Diaries family, let's give a warm, wild, and high mileage welcome to the one, the only trail confidant herself, Isabella Janovick.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. That was a sweet introduction there.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate the wordsmith. Hey, before we dive into the conversation, I wanted to ask you, is it okay that I call you Izzy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Izzy. You and I both know that the mic isn't going to host itself, so let's stop gawking and let's start rocking and talking with the Fast Five. And these are 5 rapid-fire questions that'll give us a quick insight about you. Question number 1. When it comes to running, do you prefer roads or trails?
Trails, 100%.
Question number 2. Do you prefer challenge coins, medals, buckles, or the journey's experience?
Buckles.
Question number 3. Besides athletics, what is your favorite pastime?
Oh, wow. Athletics has been a huge part of my pastime. Reading.
Okay. Well, what is the last book that you've read, or the last memorable book that is sticking with you right now?
I think Brave Enough. It was about the cross-country skier, the Olympian cross-country skier. I'm like blanking on her name right now. But how she grew up Minnesota, got into skiing, was super good. And then her senior year of high school went through an eating disorder. So how she battled that and got an Olympic gold medal.
Wow. Question number 4. What is some advice that you would give to young Isabella?
Don't care what other people think about you.
Love it.
Do what you want to do. Life's too short to worry about what other people think.
Yes, definitely. Hey, and question number 5. What is something positive happening in your life right now?
I just got back from a non-running vacation with my 2 best friends from middle school, high school. And next week I'll be going on another non-running vacation with 2 of my girlfriends that I've been friends with for 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And boom, just like that, Izzy's Fast 5 is in the books, like the time she fact-checked me on the spot, leading to this edit and a podcast confession. And that's not a fun fact.
That's a run fact.
Got it. All right, Isabella. So before we hit these gnarly climbs and these golden miles, let's settle into an easy warm-up loop. Give us the course preview on who you are, your hometown starting line, the crew that shaped you, and how you've become the trail confidant that we all know from the single track and the sound waves.
Oh, wow. All right, where to begin? I grew up in Oceanside, California, which is, for people who aren't aware of where that is, that's in north part of San Diego. I grew up doing extreme sports, basketball and swimming. And then I got into extreme sports, that growing up in that area, surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding.
Wow.
After I broke my back snowboarding, that's kind of when I started running. Because when you're in team sports, you're running,
Yeah.
part of it, but not running. So part of my rehab was swimming and running. My dad was really into running. He played football and ran track, so we kind of started a thing where I started running with him and my dog every day. And then I started running some road races. I ran a road marathon. It was the Rock and Roll Full Marathon, San Diego one. It was absolutely horrible. I knew nothing. I trained for it, and I had a great long run. But race day, I didn't know you could just stop if you got hurt, like a DNF. Like I thought you kind of had to finish no matter what. So I hurt my IT band by stepping on some uneven road on the freeway. Those who have run the Rock and Roll know that happened. And I just kept running and finished, and it took me forever. And then I couldn't run for like 6 months because I was injured. So,
no.
Then I'm like, oh, maybe this really isn't for me. So fast forward when the whole outdoor boot camp phase hit San Diego, I started doing that because it was outside and I liked it. And we met at a park and there was trails involved. So we did trail running, and that was my first time being on a trail. I didn't even know people ran on the trail. I didn't know what these backpacks were that people were wearing, that there were special shoes. And so I got into trail running, and one of the boot camp instructors was Nicodemus De La Rosa, who is a very famous elite ultra runner. I didn't know anything about ultra running. I didn't even know what it was. Like, he was just my friend. We became friends. He wanted to start coaching people, so I was kind of like one of his guinea pigs. During that time is when he finished Barkley Marathon, so he was like kind of a big deal, but I didn't know who he was. And so he took a group of us under his wing and taught us about trail running, took us to all these amazing trails, and I ran my first 50K at the Lake Hodges 50K. And during that time, there was only one other run club in San Diego. And it was SURF, which is San Diego Ultra Running Friends. And they are amazing, incredible run club. The only issue is they only met once a week, and it was out in the mountains. So super cool if you could, take off all day Saturday and go out there. Great people. I'm still in contact with them and support them. Absolutely. So I noticed that there was nothing like local, just like, hey, let's go run for a few hours, then we can have the rest of the day. Like, people who have kids or jobs so I started Ultrabuds Run Club, Ultra, and then Buds because friends. And we started meeting at Lake Hodges in Escondido, and our club just kind of grew and grew and grew. And next thing you know, there's all these other run clubs in San Diego, which is amazing. And we kind of became friends instead of competitors. So I think that's what makes San Diego really special, is that the run clubs in San Diego, we're not trying to compete with each other and think that one's better than the other. We try not to be cliquey. We do collaboration runs all the time. So 4th of July, we're like, hey, instead of competing, go to my run, go to your run. We find like a neutral location, and we have a big old party, and we have 100 people come out, and we call them collab runs. I started a Thanksgiving run on Thanksgiving morning. So that's become, 150 people, potluck. And again, all the run clubs are invited. We kind of started a Halloween one on a really mellow trail, and started inviting the road run clubs to come on out. Hey, this is your chance coming out. Check out some trails. You can wear road shoes. It's super mellow, and everyone dresses up. So, we kind of just grew Ultrabuds. And then as Ultrabuds people have moved from San Diego, they've kind of started their own chapters where they moved to. So we now have 4 chapters nationwide, and we're working on our 5th one. So that's just pretty cool to see it all grow. And we're not a nonprofit. We're not like membership fees. We're just like, hey, casual social run club. No rules, really. The only rule is don't be mean to people. Like,
that's the best rule right there.
Follow the trail rules to not get hit by bikers. Just like basic. Don't be a hole type of thing. And in San Diego, we work with a lot of race directors. We help promote the races, and in return, they'll give us like an entry or two to either give to a run leader, because it's all volunteers, or we're able to raffle it off at like a collaboration run, or, we have fun helping at aid stations. We try to help at aid stations with the other run clubs. We just put on a training run for Black Mountain 50K a couple weeks ago on the course. So just always kind of working with everyone. We work with the local Fleet Feet, Milestone, local running stores, and then they support us back too. So it's been great. Yeah,
definitely. That's super amazing. Before we get too far into it, I want to start at the beginning again real quick. And you faced some serious challenges early on, and you've already talked about it, but breaking your back when you were 19. Can you take us back to that time and share a little bit of that experience?
Yeah, I was really getting into snowboarding. I went with my older brother and his friends a lot to, try to keep up with them and stuff. And yeah, I broke my back snowboarding. I was very lucky that I wasn't paralyzed. I had to be in a body brace for about 6 months. I was
Yeah.
also really lucky I didn't need surgery.
Wow.
And the first responders and doctors kind of said what saved me after looking at the x-rays was that I was laying in the snow for so long because they can't just take you off the mountain. They have to lay you on the
Yeah.
snow, prep you and all that. So you're laying there for a while. And they think that because my back didn't swell because I was laying in the snow, that kind of saved me. Because if you look at the x-rays, it's very close to being paralyzed and just
Oh,
really
wow.
scary. During this time, I'm going to age myself here. There was no social media or I think text messaging barely started at this point. So just imagine being 19 years old in college, immobile.
Yeah.
Your friends are only going to visit you so much. Like
Right.
they're bored, they're out doing things. There was no online classes in college, so I had to, get incompletes for the semester. So I was a semester
Yeah.
behind. I was lucky that I was still living at home at that time and I was on my parents' health insurance, so I didn't have to
Yeah.
worry about those needs. And, they tried to help if they could, then, so I wouldn't get depressed and stuff, but it was really
Right.
hard. Luckily, I couldn't handle pain pills, which has pros and cons, so I didn't have to worry about addiction issues like a lot of people
Right.
do. Yeah, my stomach couldn't handle them, so I really was just like in pain a lot
Yeah.
in the beginning. But
Looking back now, do you think that recovery process planted a seed for how you handle challenges today and in ultras?
yes, absolutely. Because when it gets hard and I'm hitting a low, I just reminded myself how lucky I am that I'm able to do this. Like there's so many people in my shoes who aren't able to run for one reason or another. And it almost gave me like a second spark in life. Like I'm so lucky this could have gone a different direction easily.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hey, thank you for sharing that. And it's clear
Mhm.
that resilience isn't something that you just talk about, it's something that you personally live. And a big part of that story is something that a lot of folks might not be familiar with is Meniere's disease.
Meniere's disease, yeah. Interesting disease. I started experiencing vertigo
Yeah.
after my training runs and races, and I just thought, oh, it's fueling, hydration, sodium, something like that. But I would be so sick in bed and nauseous and spinning like
Yeah.
the rest of the day. And I'm like, okay, this is not right. Like I would miss book club and wine club, like things I wouldn't miss.
Right.
So one day I tried to walk down the stairs and I almost fell. And my husband's like, you need to go to a doctor. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I was young. I was in my 20s and this was happening. So did a bunch of tests, went and saw a specialist, and I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, which usually doesn't hit people until their 60s. But there's a
Hmm.
very, very small percentage it hits people younger. It's a really interesting disease. They don't know the exact cause of it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of different speculations. It could have been my years of swimming, growing up
Yeah.
in very disgusting pools because pools were not regulated in high school and middle school. I got a lot of ear infections in high school
Did
during on the
you
swim
do you
team.
have
Yeah.
do you have tinnitus or
Yep.
anything
So
because of that?
that was a huge issue, huge symptom. Yes. So I did a bunch of research. I joined Facebook groups. There was some social media at that point.
Yeah.
I was on a very strict diet.
Oh,
Diet and
okay.
exercise were key on this. So I could only have 1,500 milligrams of sodium. And for those who
Wow.
think they don't have sodium, measure your food with the labels, and you'll be surprised to see how much sodium is just in regular items, including desserts. So, I
Yes.
mean, you take one bite of burrito and that's like 1,500 grams of sodium. So,
Man.
um, no alcohol, no caffeine, which isn't a bad thing. It's probably a good thing. So it forced me to learn how to eat differently, healthier, and the exercise helped tremendously. Sleep, a lot of sleep, taking breaks, like don't be
Yeah.
fatigued. Pretty much the lifestyle of an old lady, but but really healthy if you think about it.
Yeah, true. Well, it's
Um,
incredible. It's incredible how you keep showing up, and getting over these obstacles and performing at such a high level, especially with something that is so unpredictable, especially in our sport where rhythm, focus, and terrain awareness are like one of the big things that we need to focus on.
and sodium intake.
Yes. Speaking of showing up, let's shift gears a bit because when you're not out there crushing miles, you're making some serious moves behind the scenes. You wear a lot of hats: professor, business owner, and runner. So let's talk about the work that you do when you're not blazing the trails. Can you give us a quick lowdown on what life looks like between the classroom and Janovick Communications?
Yeah, so I've been doing marketing my whole life. My undergrad was at UC San Diego, and my degree was visual media arts. That's what it was called during that time. So it was graphic design, photography, and video. During that time is right when film turned to digital. So I got to learn both. So I was developing my own film in my bathroom. I created my own darkroom, but at the same time, I had a digital camera and a super duper fancy Apple computer that cost me thousands of dollars, and I just put it on my student loan. So I got to see both worlds.
I'm guilty of the same thing. Yep.
I mean, I ate oatmeal and grilled cheese sandwiches every day.
Yeah.
Balance. And then I actually worked in college for Tony Hawk. He owns a production company. Yeah, because I was into skateboarding a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of skateboarding. A lot of my friends skateboarded and stuff. Yeah, his company is in Vista. He's from Vista, which is right next door to Oceanside. So I worked there in college, and my job as a production assistant, because he had a film production company, 900 Films is what it's called. My job was to take all the raw footage from tours and log it all. So I went through all his raw footage.
Wow.
And let me tell you, I saw some things, and it was a super fun job. Super fun job. I loved it. Yeah. But I also learned a lot about production and film and all that stuff. Yeah.
So you're talking, you said graphic design. Do you are you into graphic design and everything?
So I was. So that was like in college, and after college, I had to get a job that would pay back my student loan bill. So I had to switch industries.
Yeah.
And I did graphic design and production. That turned into computer programming.
Okay.
So I worked for agencies. I did all marketing. I worked for agencies. My eyes started to go bad when I did computer programming. But I always kept up with the newest technology. So first I was doing print marketing, and then it switched to email marketing. And then as soon as social media came out, I jumped on that, and all the bosses were against it. So I convinced the owner of the company at that time, I'm like, hey, let me just work 2 hours, 3 hours a day on social media, and then the rest of the day I'll work on everything else. So I was able to convince him, like, hey, this is a thing. It's going to be a thing. So
look at my MySpace page.
Yeah, exactly. So, I always say when new technology comes out, don't run away. Same thing when film switched to digital. Like all the professors at UCSD were so against digital. And I'm like, this is the future. Don't run from it.
Yeah.
I really got into social media. I worked in the tech industry. I worked in different industries. And then I wanted to climb the corporate ladder and become like a CEO, president. I was really business. So I went back to school and got my master's in business administration at Cal State San Marcos.
Wow.
And when I graduated, it just opened up a world to me. Like I had never thought I wanted to go the entrepreneur route. And so when I graduated, I decided to go the entrepreneur route because I started going on all these crazy job interviews, like corporate senior level positions, which is what I thought I wanted. But I'm in these interviews going, I got to dress up every day. Like, when am I going to have time to run? Like, they're not going to let me run on a lunch break. I got to work these long hours. And I'm like, there's so much red tape for social media. By the time I get approval on what to post, it's like the window's closed. I'm like, this is not what I want to do. So that's when I kind of decided to go entrepreneur route. I started my own business, and because of all my background in website graphic design and all that, I did everything myself. I was up and running in a week. The tools I got from business school, I was able to meet with my CPA, get the business license, all that stuff that people don't think about. Write my business plan. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you better have a business plan.
And that is now Janovick Communications. Correct.
So that's when I launched Janovick Communications, and my end goal was to only work with running companies. So I started off with Run Race Director, who's actually my buddy. He's still my client today. Nice. And I took clients of all industries because I wanted, just experience and get the name out until I could work with just running brands. And then, it was really quick. Within just like a couple of years, I was able to have all running clients.
Wow.
So, Yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary quitting a corporate position with all the benefits at a very nice
Yes.
salary and starting your own thing. But I had a fire under my ass. And after a year, I tell my students this all the time. After a year, I was making the same salary I was at corporate minus the
Yeah.
benefits. That was after 1 year. And
That's
after two and a
amazing.
half years, I had only running clients.
Can you, with Janovick Communications, can you just give us one pointer for those who are in the social media world? Can you just give them one pointer out there? Hey, do this.
Don't be afraid of your dreams. Like,
Nice.
go after it. And don't be afraid of being told no, because you will be told no a lot and you have to be able to handle rejection. But then someone's going to say yes. And then someone else is going to say yes. And then someone else is going to say yes.
There you go. So before I forget this, I asked about the graphic design because so I recently went and got the graphic design I can't say degree certificate for Adobe Suite and all that stuff like that. And I went through the classes, I passed everything, but I find that I'm learning more by just opening up the program and messing with it, and then watching a YouTube video or TikTok or something, and I just have this big bundle, this big binder of tricks of the trade now, and you just kind of throw it together in your own style. But it does take a little bit of patience to understand these things that you don't understand. You don't know that you don't know, so you find out that you don't know.
Yeah, I'm constantly learning. Last year I went back to school, or 2 years ago I went back to school, USD. Can you see? I stick to all the San Diego schools.
Yes.
And I got a certificate in nonprofit management because a lot of my clients are nonprofits.
Wow.
Even though they're in the running space. And if you think, a lot of the races are nonprofits. So I went and got that just so I can learn more and be quicker at it. And then last semester, fall of 2024, the college that I teach at, Miracosta Community College in Oceanside, they started offering AI classes. So I've been taking AI classes now because, again, when technology comes, I jump on it. I don't run away from it.
Wow. Give us a quick best practices with AI or something that we should know.
So ChatGPT is very getting popular now with people. And everyone thinks they can do social media now because of ChatGPT. It's definitely a wonderful tool. I use it daily. It helps a lot. But don't just copy and paste. You need to still edit it to make sure it's authentic for your voice, your tone, and your brand. It's like so cringy when you see that it's exactly copied and pasted with every emoji, every dash, and all the adjectives and verbs that you probably don't even know the definition to.
So with ChatGPT, I noticed that you can, there's what you call prompts, right? Like you can build your own bot now, and you can kind of, can you, for us who don't know, just kind of give us a quick spiel about that?
Yeah, so you can create custom GPTs in ChatGPT, or like Claude is another one, and it knows me. I have a paid version, and it's up to 4.5 now, paid version. It knows me, and it knows every single client of mine. So it knows that Endurance Race Series has trail races in San Diego. It knows that Warrior Trail Foundation is the nonprofit that helps veterans, as examples.
Wow.
So it knows all my clients now. So it's very helpful.
That is amazing. So teaching, running a business, running ultras, how do you manage burnout and stay connected to the community?
Yeah, so that's another reason why I wanted to start my own business, so that I can be selective with which clients I want to work with. I am very organized with project management, and my calendar is color coordinated.
Well, I can imagine.
I sleep 8 hours a night, and my workouts are in my calendar. And I also just get rid of the noise in life. There's so much noise in life that people waste so much time on. So I get rid of it. I'm not in a lot of group chats on Facebook or text message. I'm only in selective ones. I don't waste my time hanging out with certain people, if they're time wasters. Business calls, I create boundaries with clients so that the business calls, they can't just call me whenever they want and talk on the phone for 2 hours. Like, it needs to have an agenda, and, we need to be focused and stick to the strategy. So I would say boundaries with work and balance. Like, even with my students, they know when they will get an email response back during the week, which is very quickly, and when they will get an email response Friday night through Sunday night.
Wow.
Because family balance. You need those days off. You need the rest time. It's okay to say no to things. You don't have to go to every single social event, and you do not have to go to every single birthday party.
So you just saying what you just said, I feel very honored. So I'm going to thank you for being on the podcast again, because your time really is valued. And the time that you have taken to respond immediately to my emails was great. So again, thank you. And I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think a lot of runners don't realize how much work goes on behind the scenes to make these race and the brands feel so seamless, but you're right there in the mix. It's like you're pacing the industry, but they're not miles yet. So for the folks who want to follow along with you, that everything that you're doing, both on the business side and on the trails, what is your Instagram handle so we can follow and support you?
It's ultra_Izzy B.
Now that we got a solid grasp on your background, let's step onto the single track and dive into the world of the Trail Confidant, the runs, the stories, and the smiles behind the miles. And you've built such a presence that is real, gritty, and full of good energy. Looking at your journey as a runner, it's just impressive as the work that you do behind the scenes. Looking at your running resume, let's talk about your build up to your magnum opus in 2022, which was the Moab 240.
Oh, yeah. So, after my first 50K at Lake Hodges, I continued to run 50Ks and trail races, shorter ones, 50 milers. I never really had a desire to run any of the long races. And it wasn't that I was scared or worried about the challenge, because I'm not. I go out and do crazy things all the time. It was more of a matter of I just didn't care. And if I don't care, why am I going to do it? And I didn't have time to train for anything like that. And if I'm going to go do a 100-miler, I want to make sure I'm training for it properly. So yeah, I just had fun. And then Nick was my coach. He took me to crazy places. I worked with him for a long time. And then COVID hit and had a lot more time on my hands.
Yes.
And I was still working a lot because I was already teaching online before COVID hit. So as soon as COVID hit, like 2 schools wanted to keep giving me classes because I already knew how to do everything.
Okay.
So I was busy. I worked full time. My husband worked full time. But that whole social part that takes up a big chunk of our time didn't have it. So I worked out like 3 times a day and I ran a lot. And during that time, I was the team manager for Injinji Toe Socks. And I did a lot of Zoom calls and Zoom interviews with the athletes, the pro athletes. And so I got to know them really well. And I wrote blogs on them and stories, whatever we could do during COVID to keep everyone excited. Right.
Yeah.
So I got really close to Jeff Browning, Bronco Billy. Yeah. And so we kind of had a running joke like, oh, if I ever decide to do a 100-miler, you can coach me for it. Right. Yeah. Because he's like the king of 100-milers. So post-COVID is when Cocodona 250 came out and they launched the live stream. And I was in front of that TV for a week watching that race. And I was so intrigued with everything. And I had a few friends from San Diego run it. Yeah. And I think all of them DNF because it was the first year. It was that year that the first 70 miles like crushed everyone. And and I noticed there weren't many females out there. And I was like, wow, like, why aren't there any females out here? And I think that was the year Maggie won. I'd have to look back the very first year, but she was incredible. And, I knew some of the pro athletes that I'd worked with were running the race, like Mike McKnight type of thing. So I was just so intrigued by this. I'm like, and it just kind of stood out to me, the female thing. Like, why aren't female runners out here? Why aren't any female runners from San Diego out here? I mean, there was a couple, but compared to the men, I'm like, what's happening here? I'm like, I think I could do this. I want to do this. Like, and it just like kind of was in my head. So the phone, I'm constantly training and running all the time and I pace friends all the time. So I have distance and miles on my legs. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go volunteer at the race first and check it out because this was $1,500 entry fee. But if you volunteered, you would get your entry fee comped and you would bypass the lottery. So I'm not paying $1,500 to run a race, but I will volunteer and work for it.
There you go.
So the following year I went out there. That was a Snowmageddon year. I volunteered at headquarters, which was a start finish line so that I could still have Wi-Fi and be able to check all my emails and still work like that. I was also training for a Spartan Ultra during that time. So carrying all the heavy jugs of water, loading and unloading all the U-Haul trucks was perfect training for my Spartan race. Jeff was out there pacing Mike McKnight. That was the year he won and set the new course record, I think. So my experience there, like I really got to meet some really cool people who were volunteering with me. I was at the finish line the whole time. So I saw the first place person, Mike, and I saw the last place person finish. And I saw every single runner in between. And they were all different shapes, sizes, age, ethnicities, all walks of life. different countries. And I'm like, if this person can do it, I can do it. Because, I mean, to be honest, when you look at some of them, you're like, there's no way that person just ran 240 miles, you know? Like, because we're so judgmental on what a runner should look like and stuff. And I'm like, I can do it. I can do it. So then it was in my head, I'm doing this. So I remember when Jeff crossed the finish line, I'm like, Jeff, I'm doing this. You have 365 days to get me ready for this race. And you know how he is. Giddy up. Let's get started. So I figured I should probably run a 100-miler after that. So that's kind of how that worked out. And so, he trained me. We did a 100-miler first. And I did a lot of what you call training camps. I did everything he told me to do. We were really worried about Meniere's disease and the sodium. Like, I wore a bracelet. My husband was really worried, you know. But all the things that I thought was going to happen to me, that, like, Jeff prepared me for every single possible situation. He's a really good coach. He just had a list. Like, these are the things that are probably going to happen to you. We're going to learn how to solve each one. So it was all about problem solving during these long races. And knowing the right gear and training with your gear, training with your hydration. And I had a really good crew. I had some sponsorships, so I was able to get some travel stipends to take care of my crew's expenses. My husband was a crew chief. He was thrown into it. He learned a lot. He's not a trail runner. He's a soccer player.
That's awesome.
And then I had one friend who I had met the year before volunteering, Melissa. She was my pacer, and she kind of taught my husband Kyle how to crew on the fly. And then my friend Heather from San Diego, who has paced me for hundreds, and then my friend Gabe, who I paced at Tahoe 200, and he had already ran Moab 240, so he was a pacer as well. So I had just an all-star team.
Yeah, you had the whole team there. You had And I want to point out something real quick, that you mentioned your husband being there, and sounds like he's a very supportive guy for what your running endeavors are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I try to balance things, but he'll go to like 1 or 2 races a year. I don't expect him to go to all of them because there's just so many.
Yeah. I haven't been on the side where I'm crewing to the point to where like I'm not involved in pacing or anything like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, so Moab 240. So first I ran a 100-miler, and it was on a 5-loop course. So my husband kind of got a little taste of it, but he didn't have to move because, you know, loop is really easy to crew. But Moab is very remote, and they can only have aid stations at certain places, especially for the crew. And it's more of access points, like, you know, some of it's 4-wheel drive. So crew's only allowed at certain places. So I only saw my crew once a day. So he's just looking at the tracker with no Wi-Fi, trying, you know, this is everyone. This is every crew. And it's a lot of sitting around and being anxious. And out of all the problems I thought I was going to have, I didn't have. And the problem I did have, I didn't think I was going to have. I got blisters on my feet.
Oh, okay.
I had never had a problem with blisters, and people say this a lot. So my feet were so taped at the end, and every time I got to an aid station, they would just pop my blisters. I would scream because they take scalpels.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't moving very fast there for that race, but I finished.
Well, you just mentioned that you went through so much of this time alone in your own head. Did you experience any moments of clarity, breakdown, breakthrough, or just straight up weird hallucinations while you were out there?
Oh, yeah. So I did a lot of my long training runs by myself as well. So it helped me to learn how to be by yourself and lonely and not be as scared of things that go bump in the night. Another thing that I like to do that I think was really helpful is that I did a few, I do the Ragnar races, the relay races where you run through the night. So races like that, where you know you're in a safe environment, but you're also running at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., you know. And then I also sweep courses for 100-milers, and I asked to sweep at 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., and I'll do it by myself. So it's same. So even though I'm by myself, you know that there's an aid station right there, and there's people around, and there's an RD to call. So it's like you're safe even though you're alone. I also carry. My husband has my locations on my phone. I carry a Garmin InReach. I carry my shank, which probably won't kill an animal, but it makes me feel better.
Yeah. Well, that it's you beat me to it. But I was going to ask about running through the night. Do you feel vulnerable or anything like that? But you're jumping on that beast right away. You're asking for it. So no, I definitely agree. But do you have any advice for women running during the night?
Yeah, so I actually didn't run for a whole year after the Chelsea murder
Okay.
in San Diego. I don't remember what year that was. Chelsea was a teenage cross country runner who ran by herself in Lake Hodges area, which is where we ran all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like anyone else, like, oh, run by myself, don't tell anyone where I'm going, wear my headphones, like, and she was attacked, all the bad things.
Yeah.
And I was so freaked out. And that was kind of another reason why I started Ultrabuds, because there wasn't run clubs around and I didn't have like a group to really run the trails with yet. So I started that. And then I've just always been cautious. I try to run, I would run with other people or my dog, or just make sure my husband knew, like, hey, I'm texting you, I'm at this trailhead. I should be done at this time, just try to be smart and aware. They also have come out with the bone deductor headphones, like shocks, like these
Oh,
headphones
yeah.
out. You can see, so that the headphone isn't inside your ear; it's on the outside, so you can still hear your surroundings. And that's important to be able to hear bikes and snakes, mountain
Right.
lions, bears.
I
So
just
that's a
got
good
the
safety issue.
I just got the open run too.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly. Yeah, those are the ones I have. Yep.
okay?
Just being smart, aware of your surroundings. If you have a gut feeling, go with it. Be smart where you park. Unfortunately, we can't be friendly to men on the trails. You kind of have to look
Yeah,
like you're tough and a bitch. So,
I
you
understand.
got to look like you're a tough cookie, and it's unfortunate, and but that's just the way the world is. I
Right.
actually listen to a lot of crime audiobooks while I'm running,
Okay.
so I'm always on alert.
Yeah.
But it just got better and better. And then the more you run in the mountains, the less people are there. But then you got to worry about the animals. And I don't know. I've never really been afraid of animals too much. I feel like if a mountain lion's going to get me, it's probably just my time.
Yeah, I think the thing that scares me the most, animal-wise, is a mountain lion. Just to see how quick and aggressive they get, and like, there's
Yeah.
like no shoo, get out of here. There's none of
No,
that. It's just pouncing away and stuff. So
my little
that.
knife is not going to hurt them.
And before we stray away from the advice for women, I have this question. In endurance running, so many challenges are faced that are unique to women, but they're rarely talked about. But let's talk about something that doesn't show up on race profiles. When Aunt Flo decides to go running with you during your race, does that affect your strategy, comfort, or your confidence out there?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Us females. And I swear it always happens race morning. It's just like the luck of the draw. But yeah, men don't understand kind of the stomach issues you're gonna have.
Right.
And there's not really porta potties around. And if there are porta potties, there's not really supplies for you.
Yeah.
So I actually make little kits for myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Little flow kits, if you will, and they're in Ziploc baggies individual, and that way I'm able to pack in and pack out.
There you go.
I am noticing more race directors are having supplies for females at aid stations, and I think that's amazing. And thank you so much to those of you that do that. And yeah, the stomach issues and the cramps and the headaches, and it's just definitely something you have to deal with, and it's not fun. And especially on a 200+ mile race.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Well, like I said, I want to ask that just to get a better understanding for the entire running community. But a funny story, funny thought. I used to think the little maxi pads when I was young, I thought they were Barbie pillows. I don't know. We're on the
I
subject.
mean, they are
so much.
soft.
All right, Izzy. We talked about the grind, the gear, the grit, but I got to know, what is your favorite laugh out loud moment from the whole Moab 240? It could be during training, mid-race, or even recovery shuffles afterwards. But what is one story that still cracks you up to this day?
There's actually two.
All right.
So I was out there, and my pacer Melissa was with me, and we knew we had to do this climb Shea Mountain, and it's like the hardest part of the race.
Yeah.
I don't remember what mile it is. I think it's around 90 to 115 or something. And everyone knows it's the hardest mountain. And we picked up two other runners that we kind of became friends with, Callie Vincent and this guy Francis. And we went up this mountain, and we had had some lows. And poor Melissa here was trying to keep us moving and doing everything she could. She was playing music for us. She was doing karaoke, like just
Yeah.
trying not to let us sit down too long and just trying to keep our spirits up because we were dead. So, but we made it to the top, and I started crying. That's the only time I cried during the race. And I think Callie started crying. Maybe Callie started crying before. And I don't know, maybe even Melissa started crying. But we just called that trauma bonding. And that's kind of like our thing now. Like, I'm never trauma bonding with you again. And I swear, we have like the best bond now because of that horrible night together.
Wow.
And we still talk about it to this day. And then the second funny thing was at the top of Shea Mountain, that's where my crew was. And there's aid station there. And my husband gave me a hug. And that's kind of when I lost it, started falling. And I'm not really known to be a crier, but I was just like, I was so depleted, low on everything. And my pacer, Gabe, was there, and he had run this race before. And he said, Isabella, I have great news. There's a real toilet here. I was like, what? With a toilet seat? And he said, yeah. I'm like, not a porta potty? And he said, yup. And I was just so happy to be able to use a real toilet.
Yeah, just so elated. It's like the
after
simple
going
things.
in the bushes for so long.
Yeah, it's the simple things in life, right?
Yep.
So after 240 miles, nearly 109 hours on your feet, through the highs and all the lows and everything in between, what did it really, really feel like to cross that finish line? Not just physically, but emotionally.
It was interesting because I thought I was going to be like bawling the whole time.
Yeah.
But I think there was just no tears left. Like, again, I was so depleted. And for those who know the Moab course, it's like once you get on that bike path on the Colorado River, you're almost there. And then you turn that corner to get to the finish line. And people know this, the bike path to get that finish line. Like, I still get goosebumps now. I was just in that area a few months ago, and I like almost start tearing up. It's just that feeling that you're there. The finish line is right there. You can see it in front of you. And it's kind of indescribable, but like, it's just, all that hard work, all that training, everything you put into it. You didn't quit after everything you just went through. The blisters, the body, your body goes through some weird things during 200 miles that you didn't think would go through.
Wow.
It's just crossing that finish line, like everything. It just feels amazing. Like,
yeah, I can imagine.
And to get the hug from your crew and just be done.
I'm slowly working my way up to that distance and everything. I'm still at 100 miles. Actually, I think I ran at 300K was my longest. But I'm still working my way up to that distance. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Ultrabuds Running Club and everything, and I wanted to kind of dive a little bit into that a little bit more, because you didn't just stop there. You took that ultra vibe and made it into the Ultrabuds Unleashed podcast.
Oh, yeah. So this is just temporary.
Okay.
My friend Jeff Stoner, he is the race director for the Endurance Race Series in San Diego, and he came out with a podcast. I don't know how many years ago it was, the Trail Life podcast. So it's actually his podcast, but he's been really busy with like other projects and stuff, and he didn't want it to just die, because he's got the following. So I was like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if maybe I'm your guest host for a series of episodes.
Yeah.
And he did this with another friend last year too. I think she did like 6 episodes. And it was really cool because I kind of have a different, I guess, like friend circle of people I knew or people who had to think of who would be cool on the show than like he knew about. Like, oh, I didn't even know about that person. So it's been really cool doing this. So I've been reaching out to people I know that are in the industry. We just posted the 3rd podcast yesterday.
Nice.
So the first person was Kevin Goldberg. And for those that don't know him, he is also known as the People's Runner. He's a 200-mile runner. He's the host of Distance to Empty podcast, which is just for 200s. And he also works for Training Peaks. So that was the first one. And then the second episode was Chris Raup, who is the founder of the Warrior Trail Foundation, which is a nonprofit that supports veterans with PTSD through trail running.
Oh, nice.
And then the third one just dropped yesterday is Priscilla, who is the founder of Santa Mujeres Run Club in San Diego. And she's one of the road groups that we collaborate with sometimes. And her run club just recently became a 501c nonprofit. So hearing her side of the story was pretty cool too. So we got more of those coming, and we called them Ultrabuds Unleashed, and it's been super fun doing them.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. How has hosting your own show shifted the way you connect with these runners, or even with your own journey? Do you get to, in conversation, do you get to pick up tips that you apply to your own running adventures?
Oh, absolutely. So when during COVID, I told you I did a lot of Zoom interviews and wrote a lot of blogs. So in a way, it was kind of podcasty, because I'm doing the interviews and taking notes. And what really inspired me to try my first FKT was when I interviewed Alyssa Clark. She actually won the Moab 240 the year I ran it. And she's like, just try it. She's like, there's no female name on that FKT. She's like, it doesn't matter how slow you are. We just need a female name up there. Like, don't be scared. And I'm like, you're right. Like, no one is up there. I may as well do it. So I started, kind of getting into that whole thing. And I have two FKTs, and I'm deciding on my third one. So that was extremely inspiring. Like, if it wasn't that for that conversation in that interview, I wouldn't have tried it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And what FKTs do you have right now?
There's actually 2 in the Idaho area close to where my brother lives. So when I go out and stay at his ranch to be with family. And so now when I travel, I try to look for them. Like there's one in Atlanta that I was at last year where my friend lives. When I was visiting her, I'm like, oh, there's an FKT here. No one's done it. Like next time I come out here, I'm doing it.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. All right. So at the end of the day, when people talk about Isabella Janovick, the professor, the ultra runner, the storyteller, and the builder of community, what do you hope they say? And what kind of legacy or impact do you want to leave on the running people, the running world, and anybody that crosses your path?
I would say go for your dreams. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, it's on your bucket list, don't wait, do it now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's kind of the mindset I got when I broke my back. And now if I want to do something, I don't wait. I don't say, oh, one day, like do it. So when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
I have a really close sentiment with that. So I got to ask this question. The way that you value time is very similar to the way I value time. Did that realization come from the broken back injury?
It might have started from that, but also I think grad school helped me a lot. I changed a lot in grad school.
Okay.
Just the program I was in was a cohort. So you were with the same 35 people the entire program, all different ages, worked in all different industries, businesses at different levels. And I just learned so much from my peers. Yeah. I learned a lot from my professors. I had mentors during that time, listening to business podcasts or reading books on motivational books,
Yeah.
All of it combined has helped me. This didn't just happen one day. It's been through the years.
So it's clear that you're leaving footprints that go way beyond the trail. And I love it. So now before we hit the final stretch to the 5 to stay alive, let's shake out the legs for a few warm-up questions and loosen things up, and then we'll cruise into the finish line. So here's a humorous, thought-provoking question. You're stuck in a 100-miler and only one song on repeat. What is your Sufferfest soundtrack going to be?
One
song.
It's definitely a Rancid song. I'm a punk rock girl.
Okay.
Probably Ruby Soho.
Hey, that is the one song of them that I know. That is awesome. And I can't remember when it came out, but I think I was in high school wearing my big Jinko jeans and stuff. So yeah, Ruby Soho. What's one snack that you loved as a kid and you wish was Trail Fuel approved?
It is my trail food right now. It's Pop-Tarts. Anyone who knows me knows I'm addicted to Pop-Tarts.
Okay. Did you taste the Eggo Pop-Tarts that they came out with?
Absolutely.
Oh, those were the best.
I've had them. 2 new ones just got launched.
Okay.
2 different Girl Scout cookies ones. I just bought them.
Really?
And I'm currently eating 2 seasonal ones. One's like a lemon pie, and the other one is cinnamon roll.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Now, I don't necessarily eat them during races because they're really dry and crumbly, but for like 200 you can, and I'll have them, after the race. That's
definitely. All right, this is going to be the aid station takeover. You're in charge of the whole vibe. What is the theme? What is going to be served? And who is running the aid station, whether it be a celebrity, some characters, friends, or whoever you want?
Okay, this is kind of an inside joke, but
Go ahead.
if it's a Spooner repeat, a 2024 Spooner aid station repeat, my girl Jess Green is going to be in charge of the aid station.
All right.
And the theme will be, Katra, I'm looking at you. The theme will be Alice in Wonderland. And we'll be serving pineapple pizza and Pop-Tarts.
Nice. All right. So, I mean, I was going to ask the question, does pineapple go on pizza? But that
Yes.
goes without saying.
Your team pineapple all
Heck
the way.
yes. I agree with that one. All right, Izzy. That's everything I have for this main trail today. But before we shift into the 5 to stay alive, are there any questions that we didn't cover that are on your heart that you would like to go over?
I think we probably covered a lot about me.
Okay.
Okay. I do want to say something. So currently I'm kind of injured, and I just want to, give a shout out to all the people who are injured and you can't currently run. There are plenty of other things you can still do if you can't run. Don't let it depress you. Don't let it make you sit on your butt and do nothing and scroll on Instagram and be sad. Go out there and still be active. I've been doing a lot of strength training. I actually, after 24 years, I'm back in the pool swimming laps.
Nice.
And I signed up for a female beginner mountain bike clinic, and I was snowshoeing in the winter. So there's still things you can do. It may not be running, but don't let it get to you if you're injured, and be patient. It's so hard. I'm like in 6 months now, but I'm just thankful I can still move.
Yeah, definitely. Heck yes. And now it's time for the 5 to stay alive. And these are questions I ask every guest about themselves and what keeps them motivated. Contestant Isabella, are you ready to answer the 5 to stay alive?
Yes.
Question number 1. Do you run with or without music? And if so, what is one power song in your playlist that motivates you?
I listen to audiobooks on people getting murdered. Crime books.
If there was one song that you can add to our running playlist, which one would it be?
Well, Rancid, Unwritten Law, Green Day, any punk music, 90s punk music.
We'll throw Ruby Soho on there for you.
There you go.
Question number 2. What are some things in your life that have positively changed since you've started running? I think that question is just put this podcast back to the beginning. Yeah, I think we covered that with this conversation. It was very, very insightful, and every obstacle was overcame with running in mind. Let's move on to question number 3. In your opinion, what is one thing that an athlete should avoid in their journey to becoming a better runner?
Take your rest days. They're called rest days for a reason.
Do you take your rest days?
Absolutely. Yep.
Question number 4. Finish this statement. When it comes to running long distances, Isabella cannot leave the house without her
wet wipes, or now bare butt wipes, which are biodegradable.
There you go. And question number 5. Do you have a running, workout, or life mantra?
Commit, don't quit.
Hey, that was the Fast 5. Thank you for participating. Those are all the questions that I have for this episode. Now that we're coming down the home stretch and hitting this last climb before the finish, quickly give a shout out to someone who's been in your corner, pushed you through the lows, and who just deserves some trail love right now.
Oh, that's got to be my girl, Melissa. She's actually a run leader too. Chingona's on the Run in Los Angeles. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Love it.
My Chingona.
All right, Izzy, thank you for joining me on the show today. Your passion for people, the trails, and the stories that bring us together is a powerful reminder that the steps that we take can leave a positive impact far beyond the race bib, carrying meaning, connection, and positivity with every mile. Through your voice on the Ultrabuds Unleashed podcast, you've built a space where vulnerability meets strength and where laughter, truth, and trail dust all have a seat at the table, proving to us that the deepest miles are often the ones running conversation, in connection, and in community. So whether you're grinding up the switchbacks or helping somebody find their stride, you bring light, joy, and heart into the sport. And for that, we thank you for being the voice, the soul, and the spark that so many of us didn't even know that we needed, but you were there to give it to us. So again, thank you for being on the show. It was an absolute honor. Keep sharing and shining, keep moving and improving, and I'll see you out there on the trails.
Sounds good.
We're approaching a finish line, but before we cross, here's some news and views. That was Isabella Janovick, a powerhouse of perseverance whose journey redefines what strength really looks like. From breaking her back to conquering 240 grueling miles at Moab, from battling Meniere's disease to building a run club that welcomes every pace and every person, Izzy shows us that endurance just isn't physical. It's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's rooted in community. Grateful for the gift of movement and fierce in her mindset, Isabella just doesn't adapt. She takes control and makes sure every step counts. Her story reminds us, when life tries to knock you down, you rise, you run, and you rewrite the trail ahead. Here's Izzy.
Yes, absolutely. Because when it gets hard and I'm hitting a low, I just reminded myself how lucky I am that I'm able to do this. Like, there's so many people in my shoes who aren't able to run for one reason or another. And it almost gave me like a second spark in life. Like, I'm so lucky. This could have gone a different direction easily. There's so much noise in life that people waste so much time on. So I get rid of it. We need to be focused and stick to the strategy. So I would say boundaries with work and balance. It's okay to say no to things. You don't have to go to every single social event. Go for your dreams. If there's something that you've always wanted to do that's on your bucket list, don't wait, do it now, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. If I want to do something, I don't wait. I don't say, oh, one day. Like, do it. So when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
In this conversation, we learned that Isabella's why is rooted in something deeper than finish lines and medals. It's about reclaiming movement after trauma, embracing joy in the face of obstacles, and building a space where every runner belongs. Her work with the Ultrabuds Run Club is more than community. It's movement grounded in inclusion, friendship, and belief that no runner should be left behind. So whether you're training for your first 5K or you're tackling a 200-miler, Izzy's message is clear. We're stronger when we run together. Like Izzy's journey, our reasons for running evolve. And sometimes it's for healing, sometimes it's for connection, and sometimes it's about creating space for others to grow. Her story is a reminder that running just isn't a solo act, but it's an invitation to build something bigger and stronger with every step. So Izzy, we see you, we hear you, and we're grateful for the light and the laughter you bring to the sport. Thank you for showing up and reminding us that the deepest miles are often the ones that we run in community. I'll see you out on the trails, my friend. Next, here's the latest additions to the Run Shoe Diary Spotify guest playlist. Izzy's adding Ruby Soho by Rancid, a fast, fierce punk rock anthem that captures her wild spirit, her rebellious resilience, and her no-excuse approach to life and running. And I'm going to pair that with Song 2 by Blur, because when you're flying towards the finish line, your legs are burning, your heart is pounding. Sometimes all you need is a loud woohoo to bring it home. And that brings the Spotify guest playlist to 36 bangers, handpicked by the runners for the runners. So whether you're hitting the streets, tearing up the trails, or grinding it out on the treadmill, crank these tracks like a battle cry from the Run Tribe. And now that we're on the final stretch, let's bring it home strong. And what better way to do so by letting you know that this episode is brought to you by Silo Performance. Ultra running just isn't about the miles. It's about preparation, resilience, and having the right gear to go the distance. Silo is built for endurance athletes who push their limits, offering race-ready solutions to keep you moving strong from start to finish. And as part of the Run Shoe Diaries community, you get 10% off of your order with the code RSD10 at gowithsilo.com. Get the gear that goes the distance, because every mile matters. And with that, we have crossed the finish line. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or guest recommendations, contact me at runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Again, that is runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Keyword search Run Shoe Diaries. Thank you for listening to the Run Shoe Diaries podcast, episode 24 with Isabella Janovick. Until next time, remember that with each step comes the decision to take another. So keep putting one foot in front of the other, because it's amazing what you can do on your own 2 feet, and I'm out.